Hola, I am Damaris Ocaña Perez. I'm the Director of Editorial Content for Latina, and I just want to say welcome to our first ever Google Hangout. This is our very first, so thank you for bearing with us as we had some technical difficulties at the beginning there. But we wanted to do this because obviously what we do every day is for you, our audience, and we wanted to connect with you directly and give you a chance to peek into how we do what we do, our process in putting the magazine together and putting all the content together that we do on Latina.com and on our food website, thelatinKitchen.com. But since this is our first, we decided to keep the focus a little smaller and talk about how we put together our first ever social media issue, the February issue, with Jasmine B and Becky G on the cover. We decided to do our first ever social media issue because really we had heard all year long how Latinas over-index on social media, how we love social media, love our phones, are constantly connecting with our family and friends, and we're a bunch of bochincheras, so of course that makes total sense. But other than, aside from consuming social media, we also create a lot of content that's online, and so, if you picked up our issue, you notice that we have a lot of social media heavy hitters profiled in the issue. So we have people like Ana Roca Castro, who's the founder of Latism, the biggest organization that connects Latinos in social media. We have people like Carmen Ordóñez, the fashion blogger, and then we have basically 36 different bloggers who are putting out this amazing content on these amazing websites and connecting online on everything from mommy blogs to tech blogs, etc. And these women that we have featured in this page, we actually put their profiles up on Latina.com. So so that was the idea behind the social media issue, just to profile what we're doing in this sort of new space and how we're sort of rocking it, really. And that began with our choice for the two women who are on the cover, Jasmine V and Becky G, and our our entertainment editor, Jesus Trevino, will now tell you a little bit about how we choose our covers and why we chose these two special ladies in particular. But before we do that, you can probably see, I'm not sure if you can see, sort of new to this, on our screen, the editors who are joining us, and so I just wanted to introduce you to them, and you guys can wave from your from your computers as I call your name. But so we have Grace Bastidas, who's our deputy editor and oversees our lifestyle content. You can wave, Grace. And then we have Berkey Arcos Baldonado, our fashion director, and the lovely Amanda Flores, who's our beauty editor.
Hi, everyone.
Beautiful 1-2 punch right there. And we have Jesus, who's our entertainment editor. So he'll take us now through the process of how we choose our covers and our two cover ladies for February.
Well, it's a grueling process. But not really. It's a great process. We pretty much gather all together in our meetings, our monthly meetings, to decide who the next cover is going to be. And it's usually, we take into account a lot of things. We take into account timing-wise. We take into account what this person has going on. Another big thing for us is cultural impact, and just also how they connect to their culture, because we are a Latina magazine. So we definitely want to feature cover subjects that embrace their culture and so on. In particular with Becky and Jasmine, because it was a social media issue, and social media has become such a big part of not only our culture at large, but specifically for new musicians trying to break into the music industry. Back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was about getting signed to a label. Nowadays, and getting signed to a label and getting that machine behind you to get your singles on the Billboard charts. But now it's all the artists. So they use social media. They create a fan base, and that fan base is extremely dedicated. So Becky G has Beasters, online, and Jasmine V has the Jasminators, and those are two. They're self-made. They're self-made pop stars, and looking through the list as up and coming Latino artists, we just saw that they had the impact online, and also, of course, it doesn't hurt that the music is really fun and danceable, and uh, Becky had a great remake of Jenny from the Block. She did Becky from the Block, and she was fortunate enough to have Jennifer Lopez in the video, and she talks to us a little bit about that in the cover issue, and Jasmine she's also besides the music, she has this deep story of overcoming domestic violence, and she talks to us about that in the show as well, and she also has a song that talks about that. And I remember even when sharing this little story that I remember when Becky G came in here. It was, I don't know, months. It was, I want to say, over the summer last year, and she wanted to play the music for me. She came in. She's a little 15-year-old girl, just full of energy and just bouncing off the walls. And I'm like, this girl's gonna be a star. You heard it here first. Right? You heard it here first. Becky G and Jasmine is gonna be a star. But Becky G in particular, she came here, played the music. I remember it was a song with Tribo Monterrey, who are these Mexican DJ producers who are amazing as well. And she put on the music and she started rapping a little bit to it. And it's just this inescapable energy that, you meet her, you want to like hang out with her. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else. What else can you say about Jasmine and Becky, Damaris? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think like as Jesus was saying, not only have they built their careers online directly, just engaging with their fans, just directly without a PR machine. Well, it's just them and their fans, and them putting out music all the time, etc. But they also had great stories. As Jesus said, Jasmine had experienced domestic violence, and Becky has this great story of rags to fame. So from going from living in her grandparents' garage to being a cover girl for CoverGirl Cosmetics. So I mean, they had great relatable stories for our audience, and I think that really showed through. And also, enthusiasm is just amazing. So I mean, it was a no-brainer. And we did Twitter parties. I'm sure a bunch of you participated in those. In fact, we had Twitter parties with them. We had a whole sort of push on our website and on Facebook and on Twitter. And on their Twitter parties alone, we reached over 6.67 million people overall. So I mean, just to give you an idea of just how excited and how engaged they were and their fans were and you were. So we thank you all for that. And for us, obviously it turned out to be to pay dividends in order for us to not only just feature them in book, but also have them connect with you directly. So moving on, we wanted to take you a little bit through the issue and have the different editors talk about one or two stories. So we'll start with Verky and Amanda talk about fashion and beauty and a couple of the stories in particular that we brought you in this issue.
Okay, you want to go first? You want me to go? Go ahead. Okay. Hi everyone. So as Damaris said, I'm the fashion director, and for the social media component, we featured one of our fashion bloggers, Carmen Ordonez. But besides that, since it's February, I figured February, it's Valentine's Day. I feel like a lot of people are thinking about Valentine's Day. And when you think of Valentine's Day, to me, you think of lingerie. So this is the first page. And with lingerie, I feel like, everyone wants to look good for their partner or even just yourself, which is totally fine. But, however, I also know that lingerie can be a little intimidating for most of us women. So, and we also, obviously, we all want to look good. So instead of just giving you trends or, what's the lingerie of the season, but beyond that, I gave you a lot of tips, body tips. So, you feel good when you're actually wearing these pieces. I broke it down into one pieces and then, sorry if you can't see properly, and then the two pieces. So you can start there to see, your comfort level. And then beyond that, I just I know as Latinas, you know, it's a priority for us to look our best and compliment, you know, whatever our body parts. So, so I gave you everything from, you know, highlighting to minimizing body parts that to make you feel as comfortable as possible, basically. And I thought that was really important for us, and I think that's a priority to us. So that's how we did our lingerie story.
And you know, just to sort of reinforce that before we get to Amanda, you know, yeah, part of what we do in here, of course, and part of the reason that you read Latina is that we give you very specific information for your body type. I mean, for the Latino community, we really celebrate curves. Obviously, we don't have this idea that you have to be a stick-thin figure in order to be beautiful. So in a lingerie story, it becomes really important to make you, you know, just feel comfortable in whatever body you happen to be in, and really celebrate that rather than just like, well, I can't do this at all. Maybe wear a t-shirt to bed. No one's doing that. So anyway, so take it away, Amanda. Talk about
yeah, no, and you know, going back to our social media issue and you know how Damaris mentioned earlier that we over-index in mobile usage. We thought selfies, which was a really fun topic to cover. I mean, who of us hasn't been guilty of snapping a few selfies, maybe daily? So for hourly, even our cover stars at their photo shoot were taking selfies of themselves after their hair and makeup was done. So we have this page featuring the lovely Jessica Alba taking a selfie. And then we just, you know, I just included makeup tips like HD foundation, because now that we all have cameras on our phones that are more powerful than the digital cameras we probably had growing up, you know, you just need that extra kind of coverage to look flawless, and the pop of pink lipstick, and then taking it a step further, just as we are all video chatting right now, we included your most flattering tips for video chats from Prescriptive's beauty company makeup guru Erica Bishop. So just things like smiling and sitting up straight, and just any tips when we're Skyping or FaceTiming or, you know, in a Google Hangout. So yeah.
Great, fantastic. So we'll move on to Grace. Grace is our deputy editor, but she also oversees our lifestyle content, which is, you know, comprised of, or it's a section called The Good Life, and so she'll take you through how we sort of put together that section, which has, I guess, the most tips, active tips for daily living. Take it away.
Yeah, for our lifestyle section, we always give our readers advice on all aspects of their lives, from their careers to their love lives. And for most stories, we talk to real women in an effort to give readers a glimpse of how Latinas all over the country lead their lives. Because at the end of the day, we all have similar issues, so it's nice to know we can rely on each other for advice. And with that in mind, we did a really fun parenting story in which we had two real moms debate the pros and cons of posting photos of our kids online. I mean, obviously, when you become a parent, you're super proud of your kid and you want to display that love for all to see. But there's so many privacy issues with social media that you also want to protect your kid and the information you share about them. So we thought we could help moms navigate social media when it comes to sharing photos. Whether, you know, they do it or not, they can make their own decision, but they have the tools to protect their privacy. And we also had a really cool story with Adam Rodriguez on our love page. Our fans are crazy about Adam Rodriguez, and I mean, obviously, we know why, right? I mean, could this guy be any hotter? So we had readers submit their sex and love questions via Facebook for Adam to answer. And, you know, luckily he was really game and very candid, I must say. Some questions made me blush. But it was a really fun story where the readers got to participate in a real way. And, you know, we just had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and, you know, going back to the parenting story that Grace was talking about, I mean, you know, this just all sort of started like a lot of our stories do, by us just sitting around and talking about our own lives, because, you know, we obviously, as you can see, reflect who you are. our audience. You know, we're bilingual, bicultural Latinas. That's who our staff is, and so you know, for us, a lot of times we just start like talking about our own lives. Grace and I are both new moms, so you know, the whole idea of putting your kid up on Facebook and Facebook's really kind of dodgy privacy rules was something that we were both sort of pondering, and we knew that you would as well. So we, you know, that's why we decided to do that story.
It's you know, Damaris, it is a hot topic. I mean, from our meeting, everybody had an opinion, and everybody, you know, you were either all for it or I don't want anybody to see my kid online. So, you know, it definitely it was a sensitive issue.
Yeah, and maybe one of these days we'll do a Google Hangout where we'll take you into one of those meetings and you can see firsthand the sort of like craziness that goes on when we're all discussing. And I mean, we're Latinos, we're super passionate, and that comes through in, you know, in the meetings and hopefully in our work as well. And so now Jesus will tell us a little bit about his section, which is the All Access section, our entertainment section.
Well, my favorite story of this issue is the George Lopez story. You can see this here. The intro is even the intro picture is great. It's him. He has a new show called George Almighty. I'm not George Almighty. I'm sorry, St. George. So we decided we're like, you know, this guy's the king of comedy for Latinos. He's like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, all into one. So he's returning to TV for the first time in years since he did the George Lopez show on ABC. And he also did Lopez Tonight, and he kind of went away for a little bit. So now this show on FX, we had a great opportunity to go on set. We sent a writer on set out in California. Her name is Lilium Rivera. She does a great job for us all the time. She got a chance to hang on set. They observed George at his best, cracking jokes with everyone. And more than that, she was also able to get some personal information on George. Like he's talked about his daughter, his daughter's name is Mayan, and how she wants to follow in his footsteps. She wants to like get on Saturday Night Live, which I think is awesome because there aren't a lot of Latinos in Saturday Night Live history.
Yep, they need it.
As we all know. So maybe the legacy of Lopez will help her out, but who knows? That's even been a hot topic. Just a little off topic of the social media issue, but that's been a little hot topic with us within here at SNL and the cultural diversity, right, Damaris?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're always sort of, part of our job obviously is to cover the entertainment industry and to put amazing people like you see behind Jesus, Eva Longoria from a few issues back or couple of years back, and to have that access to tell their stories. Obviously for us, for you, for us, our stars are not just stars that we want to see what their beautiful house looks like, or what hairspray they're wearing, or whatever. I mean, we obviously look up to them as fashion and beauty icons, but we also feel a sense of ownership over their stories, so that we want to know how they grew up and what their struggles have been, and in a lot of cases how they've sort of had to sort of gnaw away or hammer away at Hollywood stereotypes to get themselves on screen and represent us and represent us well.
Right. I think our entertainment stories do a great job of letting people know more than what they see on TV. I remember Damaris always telling me in the beginning, she's like, "Don't get an actor talking about acting." Like we do not want to hear that. We want to hear, what he does with his kids, charity pulls at his heartstrings that he or she wants to participate in, or how close he or she is with their mom, because that, at the end of the day, they're celebrities, but they're like us. They were born. A majority of them are, U.S. born, and they live in two worlds. And we want to know about them because obviously they're a lot like us. Another one who's actually very similar like us is Amy Garcia, because she also was a journalism major. And this story, she's in the new RoboCop remake. She was also, I know you guys know her from Dexter, and she also had the George Lopez show connection. She was, I remember, I think it was his niece. I don't remember. I think it was his niece. Anyway, so this story came about. It's a Hollywood confessional. She talks about how she, is always try to take roles that show Latinas in a positive light. And as we all know, it's really hard to not only to take on roles like that, but have a sustainable career and be successful. And she's done that. And the story came about she happened to go to our Hollywood Hot List party in October, and she was talking to Damaris. So this is more of a Damaris story. And then she is, right, Damaris?
Well, she and I kept talking, and she's amazing as a person, and so sweet and so beautiful and so talented. And she was just telling me a story of what it's like to be a Latina in Hollywood, and how she really, her role in RoboCop as a scientist was not written for a Latina. It was written, I think, as an Asian character or something to that effect. And she thought, well, what can I, go out for this role? And she auditioned, and she was so strong, and that they changed the entire role for her. So that's one of those stories, as I was saying before, about how we've sort of had to pick our way through Hollywood, and I think beyond that, it's really relatable for so many of us who have had to encounter discrimination or people who just don't believe that Latinos can be scientists, or astronauts or whatever else, and so we kind of feel like we need to set them straight, and I feel like that she's interesting in that she's taken a lot of different roles, but she's always tried to bring a positivity to on behalf of herself and our community, which I think is really interesting. So I think we're running out of time, but I just wanted to thank everybody for stopping by, and as I said, this is the first of many Google Hangouts, hopefully, and we in our future Hangouts we will try and get audience participation in as well, so that we can actually literally speak to you directly and answer any of your questions that you might have about how we do things, or why we do things, or what you'd like to see covered in the magazine or on Latina.com or on our food website, thelatinkitchen.com. So let us know what you thought of this, and leave comments, and also you can email us at editor@latina.com. Let us know what you thought, and how we can make it more accessible and more interesting for you as we go along. Thank you so much for stopping by. Adios, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.